So a quick recap of the market situation in the first half of this week. We have certainly seen low volume cutting across global equity markets as the anticipation for the slew of central bank meetings to come has kept markets pretty much holding on. So looking at how markets have performed between US and Asian equity markets, we can certainly see that deviation. The likes of the S&P 500 and Dow Jones indices were seen with week-to-date gains of about 0.5% and 0.7% respectively. Tax trade holding on rather strongly, but looking at Asian markets, however, the apprehension and the anticipation cautiousness maybe has really been keeping the upsides from us to be seen. So looking at how the volatility has played out across the markets, I think it's really been captured by one market, and that itself is really the crude price market. So looking at Brent crude, we have seen prices shooting above $65 per barrel itself after the news of disruptions in the North Sea sent the concerns on output up. But having said that, prices itself actually sank in Tuesday's overnight session, with Brent trading just below $64 per barrel. So on one hand, we have some bits of profit taking, and also that was aggravated by the fact that we have EIA showing increased forecast in terms of output, sending prices tumbling. WTI futures likewise seen around $57.50 per barrel, but this morning's API report from the US, which suggested a drawdown in terms of crude inventories last week, had helped to stem the fall. So do look out for what we have to see with the EIA report to confirm this trend, and hopefully it could actually bring about a little bit of reversal with respect to energy stocks performance in the US. So looking into the rest of this week, what are some of the key items to look out for and trading opportunities? I would very much focus upon the currency market, and particularly for the US dollar index, given what we have with the Fed decision coming through at 3 a.m. Singapore time on Thursday. So the market itself is seeing the US dollar index trading around 94 on the Bloomberg, and if you look at US dollar basket on those on the IG platform, you can see it's around 93.70. Certainly been rallying quite a bit in anticipation for the Fed meeting and keeping the 95 level upsides inside. Looking ahead for a breakout of sorts, what could really bring prices up, in my opinion, will be an increase in terms of the growth outlook in the summary of economic projections from the Fed. The interest rate hike is pretty much priced in. You're not going to find too much reaction to that piece of the news. But look for the summary of economic projections, and to a smaller extent, potential increase, a more hawkish view translated through the dot plot from the Fed in terms of 2018 future rate hike expectations. So do look out for that. But having said that, another scenario that we might certainly see will be prices itself reversing, and whether that's in terms of a sell the news kind of phenomenon of profit taking of sorts, that could actually bring prices lower, support seen around 92.50 level. So really that range itself is keeping prices very much tight these days, and having to see the reaction could actually be within that range as well. And also look to other dollar pairs, especially given the ECB and Bank of England meeting as well in Thursday's session. In terms of how the Fed meeting might affect the Asian equity markets, I think largely is in terms of whether we might see a very overtly hawkish opinions coming through, and that itself could send some stress over to Asian equity markets with borrowing costs increasing. We have seen key Asian equity markets, the likes of the Hang Seng Index and Straits Times Index, really hanging above key support levels. For the Hang Seng, the support level is around 28,500, and for the Straits Times Index around 3450. So look to that trade as well. For the Singapore Index on the IG platform, I think any of that pressure coming through, sending prices below the support level, that could really bring a lot of this selling interest. So keep a close look at. And of course, we do know that Thursday is going to bring the key Asian data from China, retail sales and industrial production. So that's going to throw into the mix of indicators influencing prices. So keep a close look of these items, and of course the Fed decision that is to come very soon.